I'm a chassid of Reb Ahron for about 20 years. I stalked him without him knowing. There was CDs, and I was trying to get them to listen to this brilliant. It was a CD before the tapes. Oh, maybe it was a tape that I found in a Borough Park chiropractor office, and my choices were to listen to him or to listen to some, I don't know, Nigune Tosh maybe. It wasn't pleasant, and I listening to this Rabbi Aaron Friedman. He's talking, and I'm like, he got it. He understands human nature, and it's such a schus that he flew in from Eretz Yisrael, and I encourage you all to pick his brain. Mine you can't pick. There's nothing left. And if there are any questions, we could ask him. Yasher koach for coming, and welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm blushing, Avi. A gute Woche to all of you, my dear brothers and sisters. I'm overwhelmed by this Shabbos. I've spoken to some people and feeling the sorrow, the pain that people go through. It's not easy, and it's not easy for me. And I want to share something with you, something personal, which might be that even Avi doesn't know. First of all, Avi, I really appreciate and thank him for inviting me to come. Before Avdullah, Reb Shimon Schneebalg told me that somebody asked him if Friedman is also going through this parsha, because people are very offended. They do not like to listen to a person that doesn't have their experience. I know it for many years, and I'll tell you what he answered, and I'll reveal to you the true answer. He said, I think Friedman also went through this parsha. His wife is a teacher and was the teacher of my daughters. When I was 19 years old, I married in Brazil to a Brazilian woman, and we had there our first child, the Bchor, which was born by a heart disease. By the age of 3 months, he had a catheterization, and his brain was damaged. He's a nice boy. Some know him. He's 40 years old. He lives in a special home in Yerushalayim. He's a lovely child, but he cannot add 1 + 1. When this happened, it was my biggest tragedy in life. I didn't know how to cope with it. The first thing I did was I went underground. I didn't tell my mother. I had a mother in America. She didn't know until he was a year. I went to live in Israel. I was ashamed with it. It took me years to learn how to cope with this. And this is eventually the thing that brought me to psychology. I tried to help myself, and that's the way I built myself. 2 months ago, I was working with people for 30 years. 2 months ago, I was in a Shabbaton like this. It wasn't a Shabbos, it's 3 days during the week, with couples, 48 couples, who blindly deal with cancer. Either the husband or the wife has the machle. I'm with them 3 days for the last 12 years, every year, and I am with them, talk with them, and deal with them, try to help. My experience with this was my wife passed away 14 years ago. She got the machle, 2 years she was sick in treatments. My daughter was 6 years old. It wasn't easy. I have 8 children, Baruch Hashem, today all of them are married. I remarried again, but I had the experience. One of my books I wrote after the Shloshim, my feeling was I have the moral right to write. I have the moral right to talk on this issue. Nobody can tell me, who are you? I've been doing it since then every year. This year I thought, Yom Neruam, it comes again, this vacation. It evaporated. I remarried, Baruch Hashem. I live well. I married off all the children. But the Rebbeinu Shalom has his ways. And after Yom Neruam, my son-in-law was diagnosed with the machle. 20 years old, 26 years old, the father of 2 children, a baby of a few months. So it refreshed up, and when I went there, I connected to the people, and it was alive because I was in the same ship with them. I have a sister that left home in Tufshi and Kufches. I was a small boy. Few people remember it. It has been many years since this happened. I was a small child, I do not remember this exactly, but I grew up with two parents who were devastated. At the time, there was no Kesher Nafshi, no Avi Fishoff, no advice whatsoever. And as I learned and tried to do it when I grew up, the first thing was it had to be a secret. I grew up with parents that were ashamed, were worried by shidduchim, rejected in some of shidduchim because of this. My father passed away heartbroken, was a very strong person, a happy person, but he was heartbroken by having a daughter so close physically. She lives in Manhattan, and so far she had no kasher with us. We had no connection whatsoever. My mother was a happy person also. She always used to say, and I tell it to my children, I quote, I think it's a very clever thing. She also survived, both were survivors of the Shoah. She used to say that the Rebbeinu Shalom gave us two eyes. With one eye we cry, with one eye we can laugh. She used to cry on the sorrow and the pain she had, but she was always happy, always beside the Punim Yufus, accepting everybody. So, one of the things I learned of it, I have in Israel, they call it Pinachama Belev. How do you use it in English? I have a warm, soft spot in my heart for those who went off the derech. I have kasher with many people in our community. I call them up twice, 3 times a year, because in my heart, I'm connected. It fascinates me. I feel it. And when I heard your stories, and when I see and listen to it, it really wakens up in me the pain that I have in the back of my mind. So I can tell you one thing. I don't know what to tell you, especially if you have such a wonderful experience and training. I believe I do not have much to add, but I feel and I know what this is, to a certain extent. So I'm not a stranger who's coming to say, people, take it like this, take it like this. I know what this is, and it's painful, and it's not easy. Even if we laugh, there's a lot of pain in our hearts. This is one thing. I'll just tell you one other thing. I think one who lost most children, who is in the family of Kesher Nafshi, do you know who? I'll tell you a Tune Dvaile Yui, a Moire Dike Tune Dvaile Yui, which is Chazal. It begins, Hamagid Merayshis Achris, and the Rebbeinu Shalom that created the world and knows everything that's going to happen. And one of the Shvuchim on the Rebbeinu Shalom that the Tune Dvaile Yui says is Ushir V'Semayach Bechelkoi. The Rebbeinu Shalom is a Ushir V'Semayach Bechelkoi. What does it mean? The Rebbeinu Shalom has everything. So the explanation the Meforshim say, and I saw the Vilner Gaon says, the Pusik says, Ki chaylik Hashem amoy Yaakov chebel nachlusoi. We, the Jewish people, are the nachlo of the Rebbeinu Shalom. And there are so many Jews who went off the derech. There are so many Jews who do not behave like the Rebbeinu Shalom, our father was. And the Rebbeinu Shalom loves us. Oyev amo Yisrael, the Eibishter loves us. So it says, this is the Schwach for the Rebbeinu Shalom, that the Rebbeinu Shalom is a Usher, Hasumayach Bechelkoi, that the Nachla from the Rebbeinu Shalom, even the way we look, even there are so many children that went off the derech, and the Rebbeinu Shalom loves us and is happy with us. So we're a very big family, we have very important participants, and the Eibishter should really help that we should see nachas, Yiddish nachas of the children. People don't know, there's some sofer, why we have to say Yiddish nachas. So it says one of the surim of Isaf was called nachas, was called, it says by Koirech. Koirech was called in the name, one of Alifai Isaf, and that's why he ended this way. It says one of the names is nachas too. So the bruch is we should have Yiddish nachas. And the Eibush is so helpful, we should always be able to smile, to have calm lives, and do the best we could in life. Life is not easy. Everyone goes through all kinds of things. But in either way, doesn't matter the situation, we can always find light to focus on, the good things, the children we do enjoy. And instead of focusing on the pain and living with it, even if it's unavoidable to a certain extent, the more we learn to focus on the positive things in our life, and the lights in our life, and Baruch Hashem, there are many things we can give a Shevach Vadoy for the Rebbeinu Shel Olam. That's what can save us. That's what can help us relieve our pain and live in a good way, the best we could.